Hello, and a very warm welcome to another of my video podcasts. This one is about sleep, which is quite a thorny topic, particularly as we get older. And in fact, if you read around this subject quite a lot, as I have been doing in the last few weeks, you'll find that it is an absolute fact of science that we do sleep more lightly and fitfully with age. So therefore getting that really good shut-eye is harder than it used to be. So I've tried to pull together some hints and tips for you that I really hope will help you. I should say that I'm recording this at the end of August, so that problem of early morning light, which I'll come on to, you might be thinking, oh well, I won't worry about that because that, it's all over now for this year and I'll worry about it next year. Could you start worrying about it now? That would be my advice to you, because it turns out to be really crucial. So now the theory is that we should get 8 hours if we possibly can, and certainly 7. And that people who don't are much more prone to be obese, they're much more prone to get diseases like Alzheimer's and type 2 diabetes and have high blood pressure. So it's in our interests to address this whole issue and do what we can to make things better. And it turns out that most experts think the biggest culprit in lack of sleep is light. Light, obviously, through the summer when it gets light about, the crack of dawn is about, I don't know, 3:30 or something, and you hear the birds and everything. But also people who live in urban areas, they've got street lamps blazing into their bedroom. Most of us apparently are not sleeping in a room that is dark enough. You should not be able, they say, to see the hand in front of your face. And all sorts of lights apparently can really be disruptive to our sleep patterns. Those little lights that even when your television is off, and if you've got an alarm clock that's got a light on it, that is a really bad thing. They also say don't have your alarm clock on your bedside table where you can see it, because every time you see the time you think that's another hour I've been awake. This doesn't help you. Far better set your alarm if you must, but put it on the ground. And so eliminate all the light you can, invest when you can in really heavy curtains or blinds, and if you can't do that for now, at least get yourself a really decent eye shade, because it's amazing how much that blocks out the light. At first it feels strange on your head, but really it does help. So that's one thing. Temperature is another, particularly for those of us who are older. Now, you've probably got grandchildren that come and stay with you and they sleep through anything, light, sound, temperature can be really hot, they're still asleep, but we don't. So those days of having a one weight tog duvet for the whole year, which maybe we're used to, and certainly a lot of younger people I know do, 10.5 all year seems to suit them, it doesn't suit us. We need to feel more comfortable. We don't want to be overheated, and therefore we might want to invest in some bedding that will cover every eventuality. And certainly if you are a duvet user, it's a good idea to have them in different weights. My lowest I think is 2.5 and my highest is 13.5, and I have been known to change them in the middle of the night if things aren't going well. Because I think if you get your temperature right, then you do feel very much better. Eating earlier than you did is probably a good thing too. If your body isn't busy digesting food, it tends to sleep easier. And the other advice, which I'm sure you've read countless times, is don't watch anything like a psychological thriller just before bed. Don't do any screen use if you can possibly avoid it, and certainly don't check tomorrow's work emails or anything. Screens keep us awake because of the blue light, so try and avoid all of that for the last hour. Maybe have a hot bath, but have a wind down routine. This is quite important. I never used to bother with these things, now I really do. And the other thing I have found is that maybe you're not quite the type of person that you thought you were. Now, I always thought I was a night owl, in days gone by, my husband and I used to stay up really late and, you know, often lose sleep because of that. But I've experimented, particularly with the light mornings, and found that if I start getting ready for bed at nine, I mean, this is old ladies territory, isn't it? Time was when I hadn't had dinner at 9, but if I start getting ready for bed about 9, and amazingly, I can fall asleep quite quickly and quite well around about 10. This is probably to do with something called circadian rhythms, but I don't fully understand that, but you might want to read up about it. But it seems to make sense to me now that if I can bank a couple of hours sleep before midnight, then even if I do wake up earlier because of the light or other disturbances, the chances are that I've already got quite a lot of sleep under my belt. So you might just want to try these common sense tactics, including experiment with when you should go to bed, and see if it helps. Because really, we do want to get as much sleep as we can. 8 hours, preferably. That might seem like a forlorn dream, but we should aim for it. And experts now say that even one night can make us feel like we're sort of mildly drunk. And we lose coordination, we lose concentration. And their advice, particularly to those of us who are older, is if you've had a really poor night's sleep, don't get behind a wheel. Don't drive until you feel better, and don't use kind of powered gadgets in your garden and that sort of thing. So lots to ponder on then, and I hope that some of what I've said will be of use to you, and you could always let me know. See you next time. Bye bye.